However,
But...
So in other words, what? What? I see. That's enough. Goodbye.
so then.
Let's see. Yes, indeed. Indeed. second. Okay.
I mean... Huh? Oh, hey, Makoto. Huh?
Right.
Don't be mean!
What? Well... It's nothing. Hey. And?
I mean... Huh? Let me out of here! Got it all wrong!
It would seem... So then... Honestly... Is that okay? Could it be... That's terrible! Just the worst. That's right. What the heck?
Please!
What are you saying?
What the heck?
Okay. Huh. See? Look. See how loose it is? I mean, come on. I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
And you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's not a very nice thing to say. I mean, it's not like I made it. I just got caught up in the moment.
Well, either way. I mean, it seems pretty clear. Just a second!
But...
Honestly.
What the heck?
Just the worst. That's terrible!
What? What the heck? What?
Just the worst.
Please! Huh? How about that?
So then...
I'm at least 30% right!
Correct.
Please!
What the heck?
Oh... Hey...
Just the worst. So... Huh?
Don't be...
Just a second!
No way! Please!
worst.
Wait.
What are you saying?
What?
Makoto. It would seem... Why is that? Anyway... Shall we go? Hey. Correct. Hey. Anyway... So then... I knew it. I see. Hey. Whew. So then... That's right. In other words... However... Makoto. Because... Hey. Is that right? So then... Indeed. That's right. Indeed. Why is that? Hey. So... However... Is that right? So... Hey. So then... Hey. Is that right?
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's time for the class trial to begin! Like the bright burst of fireworks, like the flash, and so, everyone, please make your way to...
It would...
Monokuma appears! Wrong.
Whew.
Boy, tough crap.
Stop talking.
Okay. Hey! Hey!
Let's go.
Please!
What the heck?
What the heck?
Hey,
That's right.
Just the word.
What?
Come on.
Yoo-hoo!
Let's begin with a base if you can now then.
We already know.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found. Don't try and deny it!
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite clear. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough.
No, he's wrong.
Are we sure Hiro really...
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
there's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
So?
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case...
What? Now that's a boldest... And what reason do you have to make such a statement?
Of course. There's something else we need to clarify first.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what it...
We must clarify the method of It would seem that his corpse was Makoto. Can you...
I got it! I got it! They were a doll. So, let's see. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room. And then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that up until... must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any...
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection.
There is no shame in being wrong. No, we have all accepted the fact that you rarely... You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool! So pathetic! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! Away with you! You miserable wretch! I cannot agree! You are a fool! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! You miserable wretch! You have it wrong! I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong! cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. I cannot agree.
This should prove it. If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room, and as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that...
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over. Then you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer just crouched down and carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything we just said, then you must realize that whoever was in the suit couldn't possibly be the culprit.
Sorry, I don't think I realized anything.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp. Then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Shoot! Is this... I refuse to give up yet!
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over. Then you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer just crouched down and carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything we just said,
Then you must realize that who... sorry, I don't think I realized anything. As we know, and from there...
Yeah, then loaded it on...
Now, keep in mind that the...
Well, yeah, all you'd have to do is bend over. Then you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer and carted the body...
If you accept, then you must realize that who... sorry, I don't think I... As we know, and from there...
Yeah, then loaded it on...
now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't...
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
No, that's wrong! You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember? When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible! Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
That's true. It seemed...
Then, you really...
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect him.
Yeah, that's right!
So, it's really, really true that Robo-Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what... So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it before we rush to a verdict. Shouldn't we, instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things...
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but...
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when...
Alright then. I suppose we could start with this. Four of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up. So that was around...
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the... But not long after...
When Celeste told us that, and soon after that...
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd...
And then... At that point, we decided Celeste, Hina, and I, while Sakura, Byakuya... When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for... But right after we left, we ran into Celeste. We rushed back to the nurse's office.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room. But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after
Celeste informed us that she'd found the body, which is where we rediscovered.
I think that about covers it.
I see. Though it certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think and from there, we can uncover the... Now then, let's get... So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3,
While Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were... Taka came last.
What makes you say...
Because of the number...
It's true that while Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was after... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say...
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in.
Shoot!
So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that
Hifumi was killed while Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was after... We already know what order they were killed in.
Shoot!
So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammer.
No, it's wrong.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then.
understand? I've got it! Taka's wristwatch! See? Look! It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night... So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
and before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any...
That's simple facts. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe. When we heard Hifumi screaming, then we all ran down to the nurse's office. That's totally true! We're all in the clear!
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go
Anyway, we all have rock salt since all of us were there together.
And it does not stop there. There was when his body vanished, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance at that time. We were all gathered. Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that, on the other hand, Hiro and...
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, in particular, I think...
That's true. We searched everywhere, and according to what's... His body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the 3rd?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if the dead body were to move itself?
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was... alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That... it isn't possible.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Are you saying that when we first found there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body. The Hifumi's dead body had been, and that is why the announcement.
Are we real? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance you...
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body. The Hifumi's dead, and that is...
Are we really so... Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Shoot!
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance you...
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body. The Hifumi's dead, and that is...
Are we really so... Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he was...
No. Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, he's wrong! Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma?
Well, it's a very... But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're...
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast. Even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice. I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me...
I know! Because he was super good at playing dead!
That is the worst, but honestly, I do not think...
Okay then, let's take a... Then it should become clear whether...
This whole thing is pointless. Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned... Shoot!
Well, here's one. The first time we found him, and then his body
And the next time, it was in...
But when you compare his body before, other than the change in how, there was no notable difference.
No, it's wrong! In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can. I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain, this piece of cloth, and the mascot on the cloth is... And whose digital camera was it?
The character was...
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi. What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was beat anybody's truth. But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
And it must have been him.
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! What an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked?
Well, after the body, so me and Sakura headed for... But when we got there...
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside, which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it. If you're having trouble, would you like... Oh, absolutely. You know what I'm talking about.
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? Pants?
Okay, well, forget...
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
See. Then this note...
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
Just to be...
Oh, yes! Why must you... Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok! Puppy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Hockey!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to me?
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok! Puppy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Hockey!
But remember, what time did it...
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, it's wrong! No! There absolutely is a connection!
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, no further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Where's your proof?
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that if I'm right about this, I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that...
Whoa, yeah. After seeing all this, in fact, he was behind the whole thing!
Sorry. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same. With them, but Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours.
Hell yeah! It's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible.
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Shoot!
What was used was maybe Justice.
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody...
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance. Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info.
Shoot!
What was used to... Was it just maybe Justice?
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody...
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to... Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info.
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers!
No, that's wrong! The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris, but for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was if the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat, mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
if that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together... Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really applies if there's one murder. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible.
No, it's wrong! Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yeah, naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder,
Risk versus...
the payoff for working together. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its...
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was...
That's problem numero uno right now!
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
So I'm the...
A joke?
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit from brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the only ones who ever actually...
Shush! The adults are... As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that... we headed to the second floor next to draw us all...
She let out a...
And when we'd all come to see... Once she'd done her job of it was time for her part...
It was to get us to divide into two groups, so that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up. Well, if Celeste and on top of that... That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized when we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead. Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't...
I don't...
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree?
I have no idea what...
Don't bother trying. You made one.
Oh.
I didn't even catch it looking back. I can say... I'm talking about what you said after...
remember her saying that too.
Then pay attention. Sakura, then Makoto showed up once we were in the hall. Now, the entire time we were to think about it, Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's happy if you're really not the culprit.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around. They must be flooded. We are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like those. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. Just like those guys.
No, that's wrong. That's right. There's a chance for her to have. So how did you know so? How did you know more than one person had? Because Kyoko had also disappeared.
You all have such.
Imagine.
You. Then what about the picture? How do you explain this picture of?
It has to be some. Celeste, put the suit on. And
Have you so quickly forgotten? Yes, I happen to know. In other words, it is if everything I simple. What could you possibly need?
Surely there are other.
No.
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation...
that's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away?
Is it?
Then shut your mouth.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the suit was unconscious...
Shoot!
You dressed me up in that then you just draped me. You tried to make me look
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside... There's no way they could stand up straight like that.
No, that's wrong! No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that, because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
That's right! They totally...
I'm not so I think the suit was designed for...
Celeste and Hifumi took... That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe...
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate? Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? So clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, have you already forgotten what... When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite... He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really...
Your confusing statements don't make any...
He did say Yasuhiro.
What the hell are you talking about?
Kyoko.
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last name!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagaku.
I'm sure it was just incidental. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't... No. There's no reason to think... But he must have run out of energy before...
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply.
Well, no. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well? Do I? What?
Okay, then fill us in.
Make my real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself?
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
how many times do I have to tell you? Name Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. And since you have no way to contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
Hifumi he wanted us to know the killer. If there's one person...
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times? Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. It's the... And since you have no way to contradict...
No, that's wrong! That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook, Monokuma told us all... So all we have to do... That's how we can... Celeste, can you please please?
Even when I'm putting... Because... Until the game's over!
Fine then. Let me go over the case again, and that'll bring... too! Before anything, the killer... Hifumi. Here's exactly what happened. First, they convinced someone to meet. That someone they met with was the murderous duo intended to... They drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned while the killer used a digital camera to take pics. They did all this just to create... When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room. And then finally, they called Taka to the... And that's where Hifumi... The murder weapon was Justice Hammer. The reason Hammer... So, next for these attacks, the first fake incident was there. They wanted to make sure the second fake incident was this time. They planned with these two incidents that the suspect fell right into their trap. And while we did that, this was exactly what... He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what... Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching, so when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up when we learned his body had disappeared, and once again, he grabbed Taka's body. That explains how... But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary... That should cover everything. Celeste! Then you admit it?
Taeko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taeko?
So,
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no, I suppose that...
It is indeed, if you would. And when the...
Honestly,
I knew it. So that...
indeed.
Say what?
Just a second. In other words...
Indeed?
I see.
Actually...
I see.
Indeed.
But...
Let's see...
Well,
Are you okay with...
so in the end,
What the heck?
Well,
Don't be mean!
I wonder about that.
Why?
What the heck?
But...
You little bitch! Hey! You little bitch!
This is fine. As for me, isn't it wonderful? There is nothing to be done.
Just the worst.
Oh! Do you understand?
What is this?
Yes, indeed. Isn't it wonderful?
Hey...
Chills! Now then, I've prepared a let's give it!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What? Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why, actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
What are you gonna do?
Let me out of here!
Too bad. How strange. Hey! Hey! What?
So then, you...
Ooh!
Hey,
Ooh! How Hello. Well? See ya later!
so...
Hey,
Indeed. Hey,
What? What? Goodbye.
well then.
Yo!
Okay.
shall... So then...
You're really cute. So,
you... However... What? Indeed. What? It's true. That's fine. Correct. Correct.
I asked you a question. How dare this what?
I've made a I will no longer retreat. I've made my... I'm going...
But you haven't forgot what I'm...
Indeed.
Okay.
Huh?
'Cause, I mean... Okay.
What?
I see.
It's true.
You got it!
You know? We're serious.
Well...
According to the spirits...
However...
How about that? It's not like some occult mystery. The occult is bullcrap!
So,
You got it all wrong!
So...
Actually... But... the end is nigh! Some crazy beam came out of nowhere and locked onto my hamburger. And as soon as the beam touched it, and that's still floating there, one part of it just vanished. Do you realize it means the burger wasn't 100% beef? Something like 70% pork and 30% beef with... You can't trick me. How about that? Don't be mean!
yeah!
Of course.
Indeed.
Well...
But...
What?